Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's having a great day so far. I think today is Wednesday, June 5th for us in the east, well, not southeast, and Tuesday, June 4th, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I mean, hopefully, everyone's having a good day. I appreciate everyone who's watching and whoever is watching. And yeah, so a couple things we're gonna go over here. And wait for everybody to jump in, whoever usually watches, and these early birds, the people who can't sleep like me or anybody else like that. Otherwise, today I would probably sleep a little bit. Probably would sleep in today, but yeah, but we'll get started, and I'll go over some things that we'll talk about today. All right, let me put the link in. I'll do that in a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. But a couple of things. Let me look at my notes here. A couple of things we're gonna talk about is like I mentioned before, as the title, as the title says, basically. Um, Basically, we're going to talk about like benefits of living in the Philippines. You can share your experiences. I'll share the link where you can share your experiences, and that's what we're doing is encouraging everyone. It all takes is that one person to encourage, or give them like that leap of faith, and they can just make the move to the Philippines or move anywhere. Um, but I'm going to talk about like benefits of like living in the Philippines, the challenges, and also too, we're going to talk about any advice that we can give based on experience or any tips or anything like that. If you want to do that as well too, and we're also too, um, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions. If you, I'm not the best at it, but I might be able to know somebody who has the answer, or somebody in the chat might be able to answer for you. So if you don't ask the question, you don't know. So. Uh, like my dad said, it's never a dumb question. The person is dumb enough not to ask it because they're just too scared to ask. But sometimes there is dumb questions if you've been in a meeting in corporate world. But yeah, so we'll go over those the challenges, the benefits, the any tips and advice, and like any questions you have regarding. And we'll get started here in a little bit. So I'll leave the link here. Let me go ahead and pop that in here. Should be right there. There we go. If you want to cam up and join, you could definitely join us. And if you have any questions or if you want to share your experiences, you could also do that as well too. And so did yesterday. Well, I'll tell you what I usually share my experiences. I didn't really do anything yesterday. I was kind of tired, so I rested. I did some work online. So that was the majority of the day. Did get up and walk around to go get lunch and picked up dinner as well too. Um, so yeah. Other than that, I didn't do anything. Some friends of mine were talking about meeting, but that fell through like at the beginning of the day, so it wasn't anything going to happen. Uh, Good morning. Good morning. How you doing today? Yeah, you're like me. You're up early. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't really do anything to share any experiences. Um, so yeah, I do think people have horror stories of using ATM machines in Bangkok or Thailand itself. I haven't had that bad experience yet. So I did use the ATM yesterday because I needed some food, and it was just easier than using the money exchange for mine. But it was just closer. I didn't have to worry about walking all the way over to the money exchange. But yeah, yeah, I like this. Where I'm at living at now, there's this cool little market They have food. They at Starbucks. Probably start around 8 o'clock, or actually, it probably starting now. They have little vendors, and I think they probably rent out the space. Because yesterday I saw a couple different vendors than usual. I was looking for one particular vendor that sells uh, these they call it banana chips, or they call it chips, but it's like they peel the banana. I guess they roast it, or however they do it to make it to a chip. And there's different flavors. They got barbecue. One was pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I had it. We bought a couple bags the other day. It was really good. Yeah, definitely no realizer. Sometimes I sometimes I force myself to wake up because I just don't want to start the day like at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and half the day I could have had so much done. I know some people are up early, 4 in the morning, just to get coffee and etc. And I haven't even gotten that yet. So yeah, so yeah, most of the time my girlfriends always say I'm a little grumpy if I don't have coffee. But I try to make the most of the day, and get things done before I do have to, do this live and go to work from there. And so yeah, yesterday didn't do much. After eating and worked a little bit more, and basically just chilled out and watched a movie. I didn't really go out and do much. Tomorrow it's a little different. Supposed to meet some friends today for no, tomorrow. I'm supposed to meet some friends tomorrow to work out and grab breakfast in the morning. I know one or two are talking about going and watching a movie later today, but I don't know about that. I'd rather just chill out, but we'll see how I feel. But let's go ahead and get in started in talking about majority of what the show is. I gotta look at my notes. So let's some key benefits, or you could say benefits of living in the Philippines. Now, this in generalization. Is not a lot of this doesn't apply to everybody, or not a lot of this, but some of this doesn't apply to everybody. Some of it does, uh, and but we'll just go into a couple of things. One of the benefits of living in the Philippines, which everybody knows, of course, is the low cost of living, or the affordable living, as far as affordable housing, affordable food, and even affordable service like Grab, Food Panda, if you use any of those, as far as food, and Grab for um, taxi service, or like the Uber of of the Southeast Asia. But yeah, so those are low cost. Like for example, like for me, just to get to the airport, from my house to an airport in Atlanta, it could cost from anything from 60 to 80. On the way back home, it can cost from 60 to 100, uh, depending on the, you know, I guess the surge in the area when you're leaving the airport. I guess Uber just spikes up the rates real quick. Um, so that's one of the benefits, I think, of living in the Philippines, is the low cost of living. Now, some people, now we won't get into what you can afford, but I'm pretty sure a nice condo here in the Philippines is a lot less than it would be in America. Um, so yeah, so you could have a nice condo that's fully furnished, has air conditioning, and if electricity goes out, the generators kick on. Uh, Even for renting apartments, it's a little bit cheaper in the Philippines, of course. Um, but but the quality of apartments might not be the same, but um, those might be different. Because the Philippines, and some of those apartments are a little older. I mean, some of the apartments in America are older, depending on where you live. If you live in the city, like for example, if you live in the city of LA, or any city, big city like New York City, I mean, those apartments are older, but there might be more apartments that are newer, which cost more, way more. Um, Now, also too, the benefits of living in the Philippines, even though it's hot, which you can find out when you get off the plane, of course, is the warm climate. I mean, now the benefit of that is you don't have to deal with snow. You do have to deal with rain, of course, during rainy season, but you don't have to deal. You don't have to figure out if it's going to what's the weather going to be like. You automatically know. It's gonna be. You guys, what? How, I wonder what temperature is. It's gonna be hot. That's what it's gonna be. It's not gonna be anything else other than that. And so you don't have to worry about figuring out. Like when I was in America, oh, what's the temperature today? Oh, you don't have to figure that out. I mean, you can see how hot it's gonna be, but in the Philippines, now, man, you're not gonna have to worry about that. It's all the temperature is all the same. The also benefit is the locals are friendly. Like the Filipinos are known for their hospitality and kindness. Uh, and from my experience, like here in Thailand, I've only been here for a couple weeks, almost a couple weeks. Uh, the locals, as far as are friendly, but as far as like walking past you, they don't say much. They're just doing their own thing, and I'm not sure Filipinos are the same way. But it's just like most of the time, people are, from my experience in the Philippines, people are very, very friendly, and and it's just known that Filipinos are kind or they're known for their hospitality and kindness. So that's one of the benefits. Also, too, another benefit is like the awesome scenery. You could say like even though like in certain areas, like in specifically like Angeles City, there might be some rough areas. There might be trash in other places. There might be trash in the streets. Sidewalks are just jacked the heck up. Streets not. You know, you could just if you walk through Angeles City, you see lots of people just. Uh, it's in America too, but I see a lot of it. It's like predominantly like it pops from like bam, hits you in the face when you see people just living in the street, sleeping on the street. Uh, you know, uh, trash and everywhere, and yeah, so stuff like that. But usually, most of the Philippines is most of it is beautiful. It's like the beaches are stunning, the mountains, this natural beauty of the Philippines. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's some areas in the Philippines like there is areas in America. I mean, people complain about Angeles City, for example, about how there's a and everything. Well, first off, they complain because there's nothing to do other than walking straight out because that's all you're going there for. But that's my opinion. I'll, but I will say, it's hard to walk sometimes around there. You gotta keep your head on a bobble, or you're gonna get run over, or you're gonna twist an ankle, or break a leg. And, but that's this to me. That's not a big deal. Yeah, it would be nice to walk down, roll on. And if you want to go to a nice area, want to move to Ilo, or that's super clean, or I don't know if BGC Makati is. I'm pretty probably positive it is. If you want to live like that, go ahead. But you're gonna be paying more. You might be paying more or less. I don't know. But I don't see the benefit of living in a big city, um, even though I live in the city. Um, but yeah, you know, yeah, it might be nicer in BGC, Makati, and Manila, and all that, or even Cebu City. In some areas, it's nicer, but I like Angeles City. That doesn't mean I'll be there forever, but I like it. Yeah, they have walking street and other things. There's so much more to do, and but we'll continue on. There's another benefit of like living in the Philippines is the um, even though basically it's the expat community. It's meeting, connecting with fellow uh, foreigners who are wanting to, help others like myself. I want to encourage and help people, uh, eventually help people transition to the Philippines to make it smooth as possible. And now you might be saying to yourself, "Hey, I really don't need the help," but yeah, but there might be things that you really don't think of. Uh, Like in our live yesterday, there was one guy that mentioned stuff that you wouldn't think of, and that's what part of the community is. Is like, you're sitting down. It could be the simple sitting down and you're eating breakfast, and you're just talking about stuff. And all of a sudden, one subject comes up, and you're like, "Holy crap! I didn't know that!" And you just write it down, or you put it on your phone, or you try to remember it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that the expat community. Now, I have noticed like some of the older expats are not as uh, um, just by walking by them. The ones that have been there for a long, long time are not as, I guess, the ones I met that have been there 20 years or longer. They're not as welcoming as the new guys. I guess you could say. I guess the new guys are probably more excited to be there, and but the guys been there 20 years or more are probably the ones who just are more. I don't know, but I've met 2, 3, and there seem more grumpier. Not saying all of them are, but the ones I've met. And that's based in everything on my experience as far as that. But most of the expats in the specifically in that I've met in the Angeles City area has been, pretty. Hey, if you need anything, let me know. Just giving any advice, uh, and also too just sharing any tips as well too, just to make it the process easier. And another benefit of the living in the Philippines could be the how you can say English proficiency, or everybody, most people is speaks English. Basically, English is widely spoken, so it makes communication easier. So yeah, so that's one benefit. Is if you move to a country like Thailand, you're gonna have a difficulty to communicate, especially if you're a single guy, or if you're just a guy just walking around trying to shop and you're trying to find a certain item you're looking for, or etc. You're gonna have to use in other countries. You're going to use a Google Translator, for example. But in the Philippines, there's no, there's a high percentage that most people speak English and or speak decent English. That way you could communicate. And it's easier. I think it's easier transition as far as the barrier of language moving to the Philippines. And of course, there's the another benefit is the culture. I think the culture is one of the things I mention all the time is gotta you got to understand and learn the culture of any country you move to. You can't just have that mindset. Well, I'm a Westerner and I don't have to learn anything, and I can just do my own thing and have the same thought process. No, you're a completely different country. Stop being a fool. You can have some things um, like say for example, I think I think a couple of the vloggers, especially I don't remember, but um, you want to you want a traditional woman, but you want her to do non-traditional things because you're a Western and you're used to that. No, you just need to embrace the culture. So basically, there's all kinds of you know cool festivals, and there's also traditions, and also diverse cuisine. Now we won't get into which cuisine is the best as far as which country, but yeah, we're specifically talking about the Philippines, and there's a definitely a diverse cuisine in the Philippines, and also they have lots of traditions. And you as a expat, if you're wanting to move to the Philippines and you're dating a Filipina, you need to know you need to know most of their traditions, or be open to listening to what she says about certain traditions, or cultures of like there's one thing pops in my head is making sure you bless all the elders. Anybody that's older, anybody, grandma, grandpa, uncle, father, mother, everybody, and you just got to do that, especially with somebody you're dating or plan to marry or married to. Definitely got to do that. Now, a couple more things here we'll talk about. Now, the challenges, and maybe some how to overcome them. There is some cultural. When we talk about culture, there are some cultural adjustments. You just need to be patient and embrace the local customs and way of life. You just have to. Now, this is just advice, so you don't have to, but I do think you need to embrace at least the local customs. But I've seen some people who don't, and usually most of the time, um, people who do not embrace patience and culture. Now, I know people who's been here for 14 years or 14, 20 years and still have a hard time being patient, but they're more patient than they were. But I've seen some people who will not and decide not to be patient and don't care about being patient or don't care about the culture, don't care about anything. Um, it's also to the challenges is healthcare access is a challenge. Now, there's plenty of specifically talking about Angeles City. There's some hospitals in there, from what I understand, that are good hospitals, but you need to research and choose quality healthcare providers, especially if you're moving to the area. If you're, I think, from 30 on, my opinion, 30 on, you need to research and find out if there's a hospital that's in the area. You don't need to, if you're moving to the Philippines, especially if you're in your 70s and 80s, please don't, man. Please do not move into an area in the Philippines or even anywhere that doesn't have a hospital that's like at least really close by. If you have a hospital, oh, that's an hour away, and you have a heart attack, I don't think it's going to be a good day for you. But yeah, you need to research and choose quality healthcare providers as far as health insurance for for being overseas. I won't get into that stuff. That's more stuff I'll be way down the road once I more informed about it. But I'm blessed to be have health insurance. So um, visa and legal matters, and you need to stay informed about visa requirements and renewals. That changes a lot. There's a couple channels on YouTube that are doing good as far as showing or telling you about what like the e-visa or any or any visa, as far as like anything regarding like anything changing, or any legal matters that might be aware of. Also, too, challenges like we talked about the heat is the weather adaptation. Basically, be prepared for the tropical climate and also typhoon seasons as well too. So you got rainy seasons. You got to be careful of. Not careful. You got to be adapting to. So you got to be understanding. And rainy season, I think, is starting or have already started or starting soon. So yeah, so you got to be prepared for that. Yeah, you got to be prepared. But you can be prepared as much as you can. But when you get off, I always say, when you get off that plane, that's when it hits you. And you're like, ugh, okay, now I know what they mean by it's being hot. And you start to sweat like a pig. So you'll see if you haven't been here yet. But trust me, just being hot does not outweigh all the other benefits. That's not a big deal to me. So I don't know how to say this correctly, but I could say infrastructure. Just be patient with varying levels of infrastructure in different regions, like if that makes sense. Um, just being patient in general. You just have to. That's a challenge itself. So you got to be patient with. Oh man, you got to be patient with. Say certain areas with traffic. Well, you be patient with customer service. You got to be patient with how people. You just gotta be patient. You gotta experience it to understand. It's like everything's not as snap, snap, snap like it is in America or most Western countries. It's a little bit faster. And now there is some challenges, and we talked about the benefits of the most Filipinos do speak or understand some English or speak some English, but there are some language barriers. Uh, how you can overcome that is just learn some basic phrases, Filipino phrases, which I'm needing to do myself, and use some translations apps if you want to. If there's like if you're in that certain area in the Philippines where you could see that the locals don't speak as much English as it would be if you were closer to the city. Yeah, so I was just learning some English some English, some Filipino phrases, and you can go online and find that on YouTube. Learn some phrases and some, uh, and just do that. Or you can get you a book. There is this book I got. I don't know where it's at though. Um, for Filipino language, I got through Amazon. You could do that, or you can just go on YouTube if you just want to go on YouTube and make it easy for yourself. Yeah. So oh, those are the couple of things. Now we'll get started with people if you have any questions or if you want to join and share your experiences. But here's some advice and tips that I recommend as far as for the smooth transition. Um, I always say plan ahead is one of them. Research and prepare for your move well in advance. I researched the Philippines for a couple of years and Thailand, both of them, and research where you're moving and research where you're staying. If you're staying in Airbnb for a brief period of time before you, because for me, if staying in Airbnb or stay in an apartment that you're okay with, then start looking for places to live after that. Or if you're happy with where you are, then just stay there for a little bit and then decide later, hey, maybe it's time to go ahead and start looking. But you need to plan, research, plan where you. Oh, this sound plan where you're like. From example, I'll tell you. Say you already decided where you're living. Oh, I decided to live at Candy Tower, for example, in Angeles City. You want to live Candy Tower or one? Okay. I want to live in Candy Tower. Okay. What's around Candy Tower? Okay. Where's the closest money exchange? Where's the closest, where the restaurants are nearby and I'm interested in eating that I've heard is pretty good? Like Tequila Reef. How far is that from me? What's the closest breakfast? Does Candy Tower offer breakfast? Which they offer breakfast. You still have to pay for it, but um, what tower is that on? And etc. Just research and prepare for your move. And the preparing is like not just preparing as far as like packing your stuff, preparing uh, as far as making sure all your, for example, like credit cards are not expired and they're out for a couple years. Your driver's license is not expiring for a while, and small things like that, you know. And another tip and advice I would give is visit first if possible. Um, Visiting the Philippines before making a permanent move or deciding if you like it or not. I decided immediately. Just based on those benefits I was going over. Or there's a couple more benefits, but uh, I would always visit first if possible before you make a permanent move. There's guys who's been here, who's came here multiple times. It was over years. It only took me one time because I've already did my research. I already knew, and you just needed to like, it's like you're saying like, uh, no, I give an analogy. It's like, hey, you heard somebody made a good pie. It sounds delicious that the pie, because based on what they say, how good the pie is. But when you eat the pie, you're like, holy shit, I want it again. I want to eat some of that delicious pie or cake again, or food again. I just want to, eat it again. So that was for me. I already did the research, I already did everything. Came here and visited, fell in love, decided, okay, I'm gonna move here. And I planned and made sure I took care of everything before I left, and everything I could before I left, and came back here, or came and moved here to the Philippines. I do recommend, another thing is join some expat groups. So you can go on Facebook and join some expat groups. Sometimes you might connect with expat communities online, like I said, and in person for support. That's important. And also, too, now some people get lazy. And something I always say, if you can Google this stuff, don't ask so stupid. No, that is just, I always say, never, there's never a stupid question, but sometimes there is, because you could do the stuff yourself. Like, hey, what's there good to eat around Angeles City? Research it. Now you can say if it's a specific cuisine, or hey, does anybody have a good adobo chicken? I really want some adobo. Or who has good, um, Quack quack. What street vendor you recommend has been wanting to eat that again, for example? Stuff like that, or um, you need to. I say, hey, for example, it might be somebody looking for a particular size of apartment or size of condo, and they might ask. That's a good question to ask in an expat group. But stuff like that, join the expat groups. You might eventually meet some of them, and and you might become good friends with them. You might not. You might think they're crazy or negative all the time. But you just gotta try. You can't just be like some I've seen that don't speak to nobody and just you know as far as expats they don't speak to anybody. You gotta but at the same time you also gotta embrace yourself in the Filipino culture and the residents there locally to you. You got to be friendly with them too. Cannot just be like I'm gonna be to myself and leave me alone. Nah. But you also another tip is which I'm trying to do now, but it's hard is trying to learn the language. Uh, Learning basic Filipino can go a long way in everyday interactions. But some people have been here multiple years and still do not care to learn their language. They learn certain phrases, but they've been here. My opinion, if you've been here 20 years, you should be fluent in Filipino and not have learned the language. That's a little crazy to me. But and you want to stay. Here's another tip: you want to stay flexible and patient. Be open to new experiences and adapting to local customs. That's one tip and advice I would give. Um, Another one is like stay informed, keep up with the local news and updates that might affect the expats. There's a couple YouTube channels that are more that talk about things that might affect expats or things you might want to think about. Like Mike from Our Philippine Journey does some topics that make you think about, you know, what would affect expats. I don't know if this particular YouTube channel, Philippine Antics, does pretty good um, as far as what's going on with the expat community and like anybody doing some stupid stuff or something like that. And they do go over other things too. Um, those are the two I think about. I'm pretty sure there's probably other channels that do that's in the Angeles City area that do keep you informed of what's going on as far as any local stuff. But most of the time, you just have to watch the local news or keep up with the local news. Um, but surprisingly, like if you talk with some of the local Filipinos, they don't know certain things that's going on because they just don't stay informed themselves. But yeah, I would stay informed. And one one tip and advice is uh, that don't get into budgets, but do only focus on. I was like, you could get advice from people, but just do your own thing. Manage your finances how you want to. If you want to spend money every single day on bar girls, and that's up to you. That's your thing. But this is not a channel where I'm not going to talk about budgeting. Might do it like as far as a long distance future, but right as of right now, I don't want to because everybody's budgets are differently. Everybody's financial uh, scenarios are different. Some people made a lot of money, were millionaires and really rich when when they were working and younger, and have saved up a lot of money and have a lot of money saved up, and yeah, they can afford to do stuff more than you could because you're just working on, say, if you're a younger guy, but like me, and I'm not as young, and you're working um, a job and you still have finances saved up or money saved up, a little bit different from somebody who just has a job only, you know, unless their job is like they're making six figures. If you're making six figures and you move to the Philippines, basically you could live like a king or you could live very, very comfortably, but you also can live very, very wisely and not, spend your money on crazily. But that's up to you. I can't advise anybody on their budget, but I always say, you do want to sit down and go over, hey, this is what I want to do, what et cetera, stuff like that. This is what I want to, how much rent I want to, and as far as that, and yeah, and that's gonna come down in the future. Like, if I ever do anything like coaching, and I got spreadsheets now where if I'm gonna go to a city and I already know what I'm gonna be spending on the Airbnb, like here, how much money I'm gonna be spending, yeah, stuff like that. I do like to plan that way. Sometimes it might go over. If I go over like food, I don't care. It is what it is. I might have wanted that ice cream at Dairy Queen here, like I did the other day. I might wanted that. Pass by it, and I was, oh, it's so good. But yeah, so those are the uh, couple of things. Now you can always ask questions. I haven't looked at the chat recently because I'm looking at my notes, but let's do that real quick. If anybody's got any question, I'm gonna definitely right. Yeah, I hear a lot of complainers. Yeah, that is true. I do as well, especially if you're eating and you hear them talking. They do complain, or it's very negative. That's the way they're talking, the tone, and etc. That's good. And so far, I love it too. Now, I don't want to be those guys that've been here forever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting some of them too. I just don't want to be those guys that's been here a long time and they're like so not depressed, but so like, it's like, yeah, they're so like Debbie Downer. Yeah. So, all right. So, let's see here. Go back to my notes. So, if you have any questions, like like any moving stuff, daily life, healthcare. I don't really want to dip into healthcare or money or finance because everybody's health is different. Everybody has different not issues but different what's going on with them health wise. Um, as far as job opportunities and stuff like that, not much for you're trying to move here and you might want to get an American job that's remote and your company's okay with that, but um, and the safety. Yeah, we could talk about that if you want. But I encourage everyone to do Cam Up if you want to. I'll provide the link if you're watching this in the future. Just comment, man. Just let us know what, share your experiences and etc. So those are the things I want to talk about. But in the future, we'll probably get more detailed in some of them because like being patient or learning the somewhat phrases is important. But those are the things I wanted to talk about. So if you have any questions, and I appreciate you, man, for joining the live, or people who did watch a little bit of it and moved on and did their own thing, which is fine. So if you want to cam up, I did provide a link. Share your experiences of being in the Philippines or any advice you give or anything like that. I encourage you to do that. That way people can, all it takes is one person, and I'll say this to the probably blue in the face, all it takes is one person to, you know, one thing that I say, one thing somebody says if they join and share their experience that motivates them or encourages them to want to move to the Philippines. Oh hell, or even move to any country, any Southeast Asian country like South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, all those countries in the Philippines as well too. Yeah, encourage somebody to, that's been thinking about, thinking about moving to the Philippines. So yeah, that's the ultimate goal. So if you want to join, you can do so. and share your experiences. I did share the link that's in the comments. And if you do want to, you don't have to show your face, as long as I see your face in the green room, and I'll let you know if you. Uh, I'll let you know when I put you on the screen. That way, you don't have to show your face. But if you, I just wanted to see your face. That way, trolls don't come in and start doing, or somebody just, you know, just be having a little fun and they're bored and they want to have a little fun and troll around. That's okay. But yeah, so that's the main reason I do that. It's just easier. So yeah, so experiences as far as get back to the notes. Um, um, if we talk about moving, I always say we're talking about preparing and planning. Moving where you like for me it was like moving, putting stuff in storage or leaving stuff at you know your relative's house, or as long as they're okay with it, and you're not cluttering up their whole house and making it more crowded than what it needs to be. But shipping like your stuff over here, if you want to do that, I don't recommend shipping all your electronics. Um, and ship the main electronics. If you have a computer, laptop, your of course your cell phone, uh, um, you want to bring that with you. But if you want to ship some stuff like say for example kitchen appliances, I maybe buy that stuff here. That's my opinion, because some of the wattage is different in the Philippines than it is anywhere else, or even any country. Like there's certain like where we're at, there's some apartments that have like some outlets that will not reduce enough wattage for it to, like, you can't plug in like small items. You might be able to plug a lamp in, but that's about it. If you plug in like a computer, it's not going to be able to charge it correctly, and then I'm assuming it won't work. As probably, I haven't tried it yet. I got one outlet in the apartment that you can see it's written above it where it has the wattage on there, so you know how much wattage you could plug into that. Um, Finding housing, as far as the logistics of moving, that all depends on where you're wanting to. I guess it all depends. First off, you want to decide where you want to live. Once you visit and you spent some time in the Philippines and you say, okay, I want to live here, and then you want to start looking around and compare what the apartment price is compared to a condo, compared to um, a hotel, compared to an Airbnb, what the cost is for you. If you're like me, I recommend people just, you can find a decent apartment, but you're so far away, it's hard to do that. So maybe get a hotel for a couple weeks, Airbnb it. If you have a friend, if they have room, and let you chill and chill out until you do find a place and they're cold like that. Yes, but you want to, you know, find housing. One of the first steps I would do if I was moving here is find housing, not try to go down Walking Street and have a little fun, but find housing first. Find a place to live. Yeah. So, then there's the daily life, like the cost of living, transportation, and any activities you want to do socially. I recommend that people that do have a hobby. Mine's more of YouTube, and I'm gonna try to sport hobby like golf, or I see a lot of guys playing pool, so a lot of guys have that hobby. So that I've seen, to carry their bags, their pool stick bags. So yeah. Um, then there's transportation, as far as like specifically, I'm talking about Angeles City. There's the trikes. Then there's the jeepneys. We won't get into what it is, how healthy they are as far as air quality and breathing in all that stuff. But this is what the Filipinos transport in. Not all of them can afford Grabs and taxis, and all of them can afford bikes, but a lot of them do have bikes and do get around on bikes. Now, if the bike is legal or if they're legally driving, that's a question all by itself. But yeah, most of the time, that's how they get around. Uh, but from me seeing it, I see a lot of them are taking, you know, as far as riding their bikes, a lot of them take trikes and jeepneys. So those are more affordable ways. So, of course, there's you can ask other questions as far as it's pretty safe in Angeles City. I haven't had any. I have yet. I've heard stories of people getting not mugged, but robbed or pickpocketed. I did have experience where I misplaced my phone. I call it misplaced, but it was lost. I think it fell out, and somebody tried to steal it, but I had a tracker on it. And they couldn't do nothing with it, and you know, we called them multiple times, and I think they got panicked and decided this to meet, and, you know, and meet me and give me my phone back. So I did experience that one time, but I didn't experience anybody like stealing it, and taking it completely, or somebody snatching something on my hand or pocket, um, like in so one thing I do like what Thailand is that even some of the guys, like even some of the guys who drive the tuk-tuks, like if you're in certain areas, they'll say, "Hey man, you need to put your phone up. You'll get a lot of pickpocketers here. You want to make sure everything's zipped up and don't have your phone in your pocket because they will pickpocket it. There's a lot of people there that do that. But it was cool to see those tuk-tuk drivers and taxi drivers trying to warn you. Say, hey, and they look at your bag and they say, make sure it's, I don't know if they're the ones doing it, but it's kind of cool. But in the Philippines, you just got to be aware. I know multiple people has gotten robbed on a certain street. Not robbed, but yeah, I guess you say robbed. But their stuff snatched on a certain street coming from a certain place. But yeah, so you got to be safe. You got to keep your head on a bobble. Always pay attention what's behind you. Don't be like com- so comfortable. You're still in a foreign country. You still don't, most of the time the Filipinos are very trusting. But every now and then you might find one or see one that's very untrusting every so often. And that's anywhere, I guess you could say. Here, even in America, it can be distrusting. But yeah, so if anybody wants to tag, come on and share. I'll share the link again, even though I'm not seeing any comments come through. But if you want to join the live, man, and share your experiences and just, you know, share your experiences and, give any advice or tips if you want. Uh, share your experiences at first time coming here, or if you want to come up and talk about anything, you can too. If you have any particular subject you do want to talk about, we can talk about it. As long as it's not about finances, I don't want to talk about that crap. But yeah, we can talk about anything else but financing. But yeah, so if you want to come up, you can join, and we will talk about what you want to talk about in the next couple minutes before we end this. But I just wanted to talk about those particular things as far as like the benefits of living, the challenges, and how you can maybe overcome them, and the any tips and advice for some things. I'm not giving tips and advice on everything. And if you have any questions, you can comment below, and I'll try to answer them. But if you have any questions right now and you're watching the live, join. And if there's no such thing as a dumb questions, only somebody who's just dumb enough to scared to ask or too scared to ask. And yeah, so join. Cam up if you have a question. If you have a question, comment, read it, and if anybody, and most people, like, if you see in some videos, some people comment and answer uh, your question for you, so you don't know. Right. So also too, if you're watching this for the first time and just like this video, if you're excited to learn about the Philippines, or you're excited about this journey that I'm on, or anybody's on, you know, like this video, subscribe also too to this channel if you want more content about as far as like if you want to follow in my journey and my not ignorance, my naiveness, however you can say, however you want to say it. But yeah, my journey of living in the Philippines, and also too, if you want to share this video with somebody or anything like that, you can do that as well too. That might be interested, or just share it in general. That'd be nice if you just like, hey, let me share it. This so people can be so this can when you try to build this community, you want to this community is about encouraging people to move to the Philippines, encouraging people to take that leap in faith, to encourage people to take calculated risk, don't be dumb. uh but understanding if you do take a big risk, it's not calculated, understanding the downfalls of that risk, and knowing if if you do fail, you you suck it up, take it as it is, and you don't make that mistake again. Even if somebody tells you over and over not to do that, you still, us as humans, we still don't learn unless we learn from experience. You can try to avoid those mistakes, but yeah, definitely gonna have to meet sometime. Yeah, definitely gonna have to meet. I'm down with meeting everybody who's uh, joined the live or commented. Yeah, being kind of nice to visit everybody. Yeah, I've been met to meet um, uh, Brian and Chubbs and Adrian. I have yet to meet anybody. The only person I met was Mike from our Philippine journey so far. As far as the vloggers, I met some expats who live in the area. I met one expat he lives in, where does he live? I don't think he really lives. I think he just freely goes where he wants to. He's retired. I think he made a lot of money in his previous life, or not previous life, but his life before traveling. So I think he was more recently in Vietnam, Cambodia, and that was an interesting conversation because he was giving advice where a lot of people give advice, or their advice on, like I say, for example, Vietnam, where to go to Vietnam, where the best, where the probably the best rate as far as if you want to live is in Vietnam, and stuff like that, and recommendations for like single guys, if I was a single guy. But I tried to tell that guys like, yeah, I'm dating. I'm not really. I got a girlfriend. I'm not really interested in places to go to for a single guy. But it's nice to know. So to let me know, what are if I know some guys that want to go, where they want to go. He was telling me as far as what cities to go to, how much it is, what areas are probably easier to um, communicate better, as far as because a lot of areas in Vietnam, they definitely like don't. It's not like the Philippines. It's definitely don't speak enough English. So you definitely got to be aware which areas there are easier for you to communicate in, which cities. Yeah. So yeah, so I should be back in the Philippines soon. Back making some more videos. Back doing lives, actual lives in the Philippines, and most of my lives recently have been here in Thailand, which is okay. Um, but still, I don't have feet on the ground to be able to hear what's going on in Angeles City area or anything like that, or walking down Angeles City area. Well, I understand that Liking Bar is still closed. Um, uh, a lot of people are like, I think Envy was closed because for employees. I don't know what's going on with them. I haven't really looked into that, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. And thank you everyone for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'm gonna get something to eat and start my day before work, before working. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. I thank you everyone for watching, or whoever is watching. The very few, less than a handful of people who watched the live. Yeah, is it open? Okay, good. Because I think they closed it for employees. Yeah, yeah, it's open. Okay, good. So that's good. But I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate everyone for being. Oh, you talking about the Vikings bar is open? Oh, did not know that. I don't think anybody's mentioned that neither. So I haven't. I don't know. I've seen you in a couple of lives. Has anybody mentioned it about the Viking bar being open? Probably Philippine Antics probably talked about it. I don't know. I've been busy, so I haven't watched any. I watched Mike's videos and his lives, but I didn't watch his. I don't watch those debates because I just don't. I just think I just don't. I just don't want to be in. I don't know. It just makes me. Watching debates that people just bitch about. Mike mentioned it. Okay, he might have mentioned it. I just didn't see the video. He did mention it. And did he mention it in the live? Because I haven't watched most of his live. If he did it in a video that he's done recently, he hasn't. Probably mentioned it in the live because I haven't watched it. Yeah, yeah, I think he did. Yeah, but appreciate you for watching, or anybody that hopped in and watched it for a little bit. It really helps out the views. But I appreciate if you like this video. If you haven't, I appreciate if you would. If you're first time watching, um, catch us live. Let's come and join the live. Share your experiences if you live or have been to the Philippines. Let's share your experiences in the future and comment. If you're watching this video in the past, it could be a year from now, 2 months from now, and you're finally seeing this handsome bald guy that's in front of you. A pokey book guy. But yeah, just subscribe and just follow this journey, man. Just like follow my journey. I'm pretty much learning as I go. I'm getting advice from other people. I'm taking that advice, but also too, I'm learning as I go as well too. Is this the my situation is different from a lot of people's, and numerous people have said that. So this, and you might not think that, but yeah, my journey is a little bit different than most people. So um, I appreciate everyone for watching. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great day. All right, peace out.